Warning: Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
So what I'm saying now is that you're going to have this massive influx of immigrants into the country that are better equipped. They don't have your legacies. They don't have your disadvantages. They're walking across the border. They're going to get a free lunch. They don't have to pay dues. But you got public policies in this country that are equating them to black folk. They're equating them to black, and what we've allowed them to do, starting in 1970, is to wrap themselves in black folks' suffering and pretend somehow they suffered along with black folk. And therefore, whatever program is created under this misguided label called minority, that they are equal to you and over you. And we're going to deal with that whole concept of minority in a few minutes too.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you hit that like, share, and hype button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description, go to change.org, and put your signature on the petition for reparations, as well as hitting the other link in the description, joining the Telegram group in order to help circumvent the shadow banning that PukeTube has been doing to the new black media. With that being said, family, today we're here with an impromptu live. It's very impromptu. You know, I was trying to figure out when I was going to do this live next week because I really wanted to touch on this, especially after the events of yesterday. And I told you guys, as soon as Roland had a chance, that Snorlax looking mother lover was going to come out and he was going to try and fearmonger the world. But not just Roland. All the shields are out doing what I said they were going to do with 100% persistency. So we're going to have to talk about that here today. We're going to talk about some of the things that Roland had to say last night on his broadcast, as well as we're going to talk about another person that we have to, point out, someone who actually was a victim of being gerrymandered out of their district. But we're going to get there. Like I said, this is a very impromptu. I decided to do it today because, I want to give a B1 salute to our good brother Black Alpha, shout out to our good brother Black Alpha regardless. But I want to give a B1 salute to our good brother Afro Elite. Today is his birthday, so he broadcasted earlier today. And I want to wish him a happy birthday. And the Most High said, well, here you go. There's your chance. You can do it tonight. Because tomorrow I will not be able to do it. I actually have, after class, I'm going to be on the road until Saturday afternoon. And then Saturday, we have a broadcast already set. And Sunday, for the Sunday service, we're going to be talking about reparations and representation. That's going to be what we're going to be doing on Sunday. So I wasn't willing to push those two back any further. So I'm glad that, our good brother is going to be out celebrating his birthday, not in the way of, I can get in this slot, but everything worked out. The Most High made sure that everything worked out in the way it was going to work out. So happy birthday to our good brother Afro Elite and many, many more to him. Now, family, we got some talking to do. We got some talking to do. We got some conversation, some conversing to be had here today. Earlier today, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that I was actually helping, and he's actually going to be doing next week. He has a mock trial coming up, right? So I'm kind of helping him through his research for the mock trial. And while we was taking a break, we started talking about what happened yesterday with SCOTUS. And as we're talking, I was like, hey, let's spitball. Let's just have a brainstorming situation. We're going to take about a 10-minute, 15-minute break, right? Let's spitball a little bit. What would be good arguments now that they're saying race must be, the intent must be proven in order to use race as an argument? And me and this good brother, we went back and forth. And we was only supposed to take a 15-minute break. We ended up taking about a 30-minute break doing this back and forth. And we've come up with many different ways you can actually defend voter dilution without bringing up race. And not just that, we went over some of the precedent of what is usually used whenever there's an issue with these voter maps and the type of arguments that are brought on behalf of those situations. So we're going to get into that as well, family. But before we do, you know what I must do, family? I got to get some of that family energy up in here. It's been a long day, and you already know I got to give a B1 salute and a shalom to Rael, Aquarius Minded, Stacy, our sister Stacy in the building. Much love to you. It's always a pleasure. Our sister Brenda Thomas, Black RU, A. Jones, 13 Mike Travels, Rahaya, much love to you, my sister. Mrs. C. Phillips Davis, much love to you, my sister. M. Hampton in the building, much love. Queen Sister Hurricane Nisi in the building. Hot Shot Miami Flavor in the building, much love to you. Love that name, goddamn. Miami Flavor. All right, our sister Val Hawkins is in the building. Our good brother Eddie Foster, aka Boilermakers, in the building. Our sister Anita Harrell. Our good brother Ach is in the building. Virginia Pearson in the building. Much love, much love. Joseph Word in the building. Much love, much love. I am in the building. Much love to me. Much love, much love. Our sister Sean C is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. Ali Alex is in the building. Much love to you. Much love to you. Our brother Rashad Wallace and Curtis Price is in the building. Much love, much love. Kelly Goodman is in the building. Much love. Ishmael Bull is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here as well. Our good brother Black Alpha in the building. Much love to you, my good brother. Thank you for being here as always. Robert Taylor is in the building. Much love. Claude Nilly Francis Amos is in the building. Lib Tears is in the building. Much love to you. Much love. Gary Wright is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Luncheons is in the building. Much love to you. Lunch Eye, is in the building. Greg Streeter is in the building, as well as Renaissance Woman in the building. Much love to each and every one of you. And thank you all for being here, family. Now, let's jump up in it and shout out to everybody who's not in the chat, who's actually just listening to the play, and everybody who's going to catch this on the playback. Now that we got that FBA energy surging, oh yeah, I needed that, family. It's been a long day. And plus, like I said, we're going to have to get into what Snorlax had to say. So, you know, we need all the good and positive energy that we can get, family. Now, let's not waste any time. Let's get right on into it.
Folks, we've been predicting this day was going to happen. We have talked about the consistent attack on African Americans and voting rights and Black political power. Well, the right-wing Supreme Court today, in a 6-3 decision, determined the Louisiana versus Cali case that actually is going to have a major impact on congressional seats, state rep seats, state senate seats, county commissioner seats, city council seats, where race was used in the creation. Now,
real quick, before we even get there, Roland, whose fault is it? You've been warning, right? Well, we've been warning you. We've been warning everyone that isn't a part of the Black grassroots. We've been warning everyone who puts on a cape for the Democratic Party. We've been warning everybody. And we're still warning you. Our brother Black Alpha just pulled up on Kamala. Our brother Melrose pulled up on Al Sharpton. Afro Elite pulled up on their reparations commission that's going on out there in Illinois. We keep on telling you guys, what you need to do in order to get our votes. And you kept ignoring us. And now one of the biggest tools that you guys were able to use in order to ignore our vote has been taken away in the manner of which, the way you guys are saying it's been taken away. It's been taken away from you. Because you're not just going to be able to look at a district and say, oh, we ain't got to do nothing for the black people there because all we need is a certain amount of votes out of that district and we'll take the district. You're not going to be able to sit up here looking like Snorlax and tell us and fearmonger us into running over to the Democrat plantation in order to cast our votes, because we told you we will let all of this go to the wayside. Every tool that you have in your toolbox, we will allow you to use it. And then we'll watch it get broken. We're here. And shout out to everybody of the past, all our elders and everybody we stand on the shoulders of, but they're not. We're here. We're changing the dynamic. We're changing the way people look at the politics of America. And more specifically, we're changing the way you guys tell people about the politics of America. But let's continue.
This is an extremely strange ruling by this majority. They held that Section 2 of the Act, which prohibits states from using maps that dilute minority groups' voting power, requires plaintiffs to be able to, quote, disentangle race from lawmakers' race-neutral considerations so that a strong inference may be drawn that race was a factor.
That's not what happened. That's why I was here yesterday. That's why I made sure to break down exactly what the Supreme Court said and what they're saying. All the Supreme Court said was, if you're going to use the excuse of race when bringing a case to the Supreme Court saying that this map is unconstitutional, then you must now prove the intent on race. But when you're talking about voter dilution, there are many ways to prove voter dilution. And there are other things that you can actually use as a defense to take these type of situations to court. And we're going to discuss some of those situations. Like I said, me and my homeboy, we sat down and we spitballed and came out with a bunch of different defenses based off of the defenses that they have already used, the arguments that have already been used when coming to talk about these maps. But let's continue.
What the hell they're talking about. The 60 decision will make it far harder for plaintiffs to challenge future maps for racial discrimination, undermining a key understanding of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Now, folks, to further break all of this down, and again, trying to get people to understand what we're dealing with, they were deciding a case regarding the second black district in Louisiana. Here's the problem. The same Supreme Court allowed the creation of that very district. So the Republicans in Louisiana then tried to sue by saying, oh, race should not be used as a factor in that. All right, let's figure out what the hell they were talking about, because it's frankly being quite clueless. Damon Hewitt is the president and executive director of the Laws Committee for Civil Rights under Law. He joins us right now. So, Frat, let's walk. This ruling written by Samuel Alito is all over the place. Elena Kagan, who was one of the three, she says that for all intent and purposes, what they've done is turn the Voting Rights Act into a name-only law.
Well, exactly. It's like you have rights on paper, but no remedy in fact. The court has made.
Now, family, I want y'all to listen to everything that these folks are saying, because they're telling you that the Voters' Right Act is gone. It's been gutted. It's only there in name alone. But I want you to notice, all of these tap dancing, bootlicking coons will still tell you it's so important for you to get out there and vote at a level never been seen before. Well, if the Voters' Rights Act is gutted, then, shouldn't you be telling us ways in order to go out and vote in ways where our vote will still matter? Or are you telling us that our vote still matters by telling us to go out there and vote in November? This is what they're doing. On one end, they're telling you that the Voters' Rights Act is gutted, but then they're turning around and trying to tell you while your power has been taken away from you, that it's important for you to go use your power to put them back in office. This is what I'm saying. And this is what they're going to continue to do. Especially, this is probably a gift horse in the mouth they were looking at, because God dang it, this happened right before the election. So now they have something that they can use to more fear monger the black community. But let's continue. No, you didn't. I know you didn't.
It's incredibly difficult. It's actually usurped Congress's authority. You know, back in 1982, Lionel Gwynne and others helped to get the amendments in 1982 to make clear that there was an effects standard, that it wasn't just intentional discrimination based on the bad Supreme Court decision out of Mobile, Alabama. Now, Justice Alito and majority of the court has essentially overwritten that by basically changing Section 2, saying, we don't like that. We're going back to the glory days of the way it was. And that means that we have to prove intentional racial discrimination to get any kind of remedy. So this thing is bad all the way around. But let's just be clear for broader context, Roland. Black people we've never had fair representation in this country. As long as there have been elections in this country, there's been racial discrimination in voting.
Okay. So you're admitting that now. Okay, that's good. Good. Let's get it all out. Black people have never had proper representation in this country. So with that being said, continue.
Why we needed a Voting Rights Act. That's why we needed the 15th Amendment to ensure that.
Okay, family. He said that's why we needed the Voters' Rights Act. We've had the Voters' Rights Act for 60 plus years now, and they're still diluting our votes. How are they diluting our votes, family? They're diluting it within Democratic cities by doing the same thing that they're complaining about in Republican goddamn states. Excuse me, I don't know why I said cities, but states. They're gerrymandering. But for the Democrats, it's a little bit more egregious than that, because it's not just gerrymandering that these people utilize. These people are also watering down our votes by using these illegals. Yes. This is why, and we spoke about this several times over, family. All of these states that keep on fighting for these illegals, they're fighting for these illegals because population controls how many seats these states have in the House and Senate. So with all of these folks leaving California, all of these folks leaving New York, leaving Illinois, leaving places like Washington to go to more friendlier places, or more places where you feel it's more friendly for you. I digress. While all of this is happening, they're pulling in a lot more illegals in order to keep their positions and to keep their power. So regardless of whether it is gerrymandering in this situation or using illegals, our vote have been getting diluted for a while now. And you don't hear Roland Martin talking about that. You don't hear Roland Martin's little brother talking about that. Whoever the hell this dude is. You don't hear anybody in the Democratic Party talking about that situation, because they know at the end of the goddamn day, if you mention one thing about that, then your whole party is going to be looked at as the demon class that they're supposed to be, and that there are. Let's be very clear. The one thing about Republicans, they're not expecting our votes. True. However, that's because they never had to work for it. Well, since the Civil Rights Bill, they haven't had to work for it. Now we're in a position where they have to work for it in the very same way that the Democrats have to work for it. But when I say the Republicans don't expect our vote, the Democrats do. And the Democrats is actively diluting our vote while expecting it from us, while giving us nothing, while taking everything that they have or anything that they want to create and put it in place for all these other groups. Yeah, that is a very, very dangerous situation when it comes to our votes too. But nobody addresses that unless it's foundational Black Americans, unless it's the Black grassroots. Fear tactics are over. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life for FBA. Let's continue.
Rights to vote were on the bridge based on race, color, prior condition of servitude, as in slavery. And so what this makes it much less likely that we ever get fair representation. Now, we're not giving up, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, later. We're not giving up, but this is a tough one. This is a bitter pill to swallow, and it is devilishly ingenious in its scope because it touches Section 2 and also touches racial gerrymandering. One last point.
It doesn't touch Section 2. It touches racial gerrymandering. Section 2, like I said, is all about the protections of the vote dilution. So, as I explained yesterday, the only change is the courts will no longer assume voter dilution when you use racism as a means of challenging. If you want to go to the courts and say, hey, we're challenging this map because it's racist, you're going to have to articulate and prove the intent on that situation. But when it comes to voter dilution, there are many different ways in order to defend those situations. One of which is partisan fairness, power versus vote matches, or vote mismatches to be more specifically, right? Elections should reflect overall voter preferences, not engineered outcomes. Now, this is something that's been used several times before in the courts as an argument. I don't see why that wouldn't be an issue now. And he knows this. That's why he says we're not giving up, because they know that this isn't the end all be all of the situation. But like I told you all, these folks will run around the goddamn world screaming that the sky is falling. Chicken little, chicken little. Then when you hold their feet to the fire and say, well, tell me, how is the sky falling? Well, don't you see? It's just racism, you see. And no, there's actually more to that. Because if you say you're not giving up, that means there's other avenues, correct? And the very same thing that I explained yesterday. If an attorney is told that he cannot use the defense that he wants to use, then guess what? That attorney ain't going to say, oh, well, everything is just upside down, don't you know? And we can't do nothing. We have no other remedies, don't you know? No, he's going to go back to his goddamn office. He's going to call up his paralegals. He's going to call up his interns. He's going to call up his first years, and they're going to get to work. They're going to research and figure out a new defense that man can use or that woman can use when they go back to court. I said this yesterday because I wanted people to understand that this woe is me mindset that these people are coming out pushing onto our community, we need to make sure that it is dead in the water. Because even he said so himself. We're not stopping there, which means there are other avenues to be had. Let's continue.
Rolling. Juxtaposed against today's decision is yesterday's summary order that most people missed because it wasn't a full written opinion. You know about the Texas mid-decade redistricting. We and others litigated that at the Lawyers Committee and other organizations as well. We won the trial before a 3-judge panel. A Trump-appointed judge wrote the majority opinion. He said, this may look like political gerrymandering only, but this is racial gerrymandering. Here's why. He goes on for 60-some-odd pages explaining why. Several weeks ago, the Supreme Court issued a statement and it paused that preliminary injunction. Yesterday, in a very short summary order, the court said, for the reasons we said before, y'all lose. So here's the juxtaposition.
Like that what he wrote.
Exactly. Here's the juxtaposition. Intentionally targeting Black and Latino districts in Texas and Black and Latino voters for elimination is not racial gerrymandering to this court. Yet, as you said a few minutes ago, having a remedy to a violation of Black people's rights under Section 2 is racial discrimination.
Now notice how he said that right there, as if Black people in Texas, we're being gerrymandered out of our vote. That's not happening here. And the reason why they're saying it like this, they're moving in that demeanor, is because of what happened with Jasmine Crockett. But yet he also still throws in the Latinos, the Browns, when he mentions us, when the Latinos were the people that did not vote for Jasmine Crockpot. Do you see what I'm saying? Foundational Black Americans stayed home. We didn't rock with Jasmine. And because we didn't go out in droves, which the majority of Democrats need. They need us out there. Since we didn't go out there, the Latino community handed her an L. It is simple. It is plain. But continue.
Racial gerrymandering. That is intellectually dishonest. That is hypocritical at best. That's what we are.
Well, and also what it essentially allows for them to do is to say, oh, we can just disperse Black Latino voters all over the place. And so even though they make up almost 40% of Mississippi, Mississippi has the likelihood of them creating a 4-0 all-Republican district and say, well, we don't care how y'all may vote. And the crazy thing is, which we all know, that partisan gerrymandering in the South has been racial.
Yes.
This idea that, oh no, these white conservative lawmakers, they're not drawing lines and factoring in race. They are. That was the Heartland, Louisiana case.
Exactly.
They literally showed that even when Democrats are drawing it, it's about race.
It always is. It's like,
so you admit that both parties uses gerrymandering in order to eliminate certain races out of their voting ability. But the problem where you're not admitting, what you're not admitting, let's be very clear on what you're not saying here, Roland, you fat bastard, you. While the Democrats are gerrymandering, they're gerrymandering us in the very same way that the Republicans are gerrymandering us. And you don't mention it once. I haven't heard Roland mention the gerrymandering in California or the gerrymandering in goddamn New York, in Illinois, Washington, where Black Americans are quite literally getting X'd out of their own damn communities. You can't tell me nothing when it comes down to this, because you're so focused on trying to get us to make us afraid of the Republican parties and everything that they could do, and you're just trying to tiptoe right on past the Democratic Party and everything that they have done to bring us here today. To bring us here, right now, today. And this is why nobody rocks with this man. This is why nobody is listening to this man. Even the older generations, they're pulling away from this dude. That's what's really pissing him the hell off. Because it's not just the youth, it is the older generations as well that is calling out Roland Poly Martin's bull crap. These two dudes just sitting there looking like a bunch of fishing bulbs, god dang it. Like, it looked like Christmas tree ornaments. What's going on here? God dang it. Let's continue.
Racial gerrymandering is the evil twin of partisan gerrymandering or vice versa. They basically are what and what. We've actually had to sue Democrats before at the Lawyers Committee because we're not a partisan organization and anybody can get it when it comes to.
Well, you don't say. You have to sue Democrats for racial gerrymandering? Don't say. Get out of town. So you mean to tell me that what we've been saying for a long time has been correct and nobody has said anything until now? This man said we're bipartisan. Anybody can get it. But yet you didn't say anything about the racial gerrymandering under the Democrats until right now? I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. If anybody, any one of the family in the chat, if y'all got your heads wrapped around what they're saying right now, please let me know. Because it sounds like they are saying, hey, yeah, we've been complicit for a while now. And now, since it affects the Democratic Party, we're just going to come out and say the truth. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong in that. Shout out to y'all rules in the building, men at large. Oh man, that's men at huge. Damn men at large. That's men at huge. That's I swear to God, that is crazy. All right, fam, let's continue.
Rights. We sued Democrats for racial gerrymandering in Illinois when they cracked the black community.
Right.
So, you know, this is the name of the game. It is always.
And that right there is another tool that you can use. You can actually claim that they're cracking black communities. And what cracking is when they're splitting up a large community in order to dilute their voting power. See, that right there, you can actually take to the courts and say, hey, here's evidence of cracking. They're trying to dilute black votes here. Boom. Now that's in. No, you didn't. Shout out to our brother Iron Will, not Lavelle Crawford. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, my good brother. God dang. You got that one. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna be able to unsee that. But let's let him continue.
Is about race. It's always about power.
Congressman Bobby Scott, this Justice Lena Kagan said, and I've been saying this as well, that this decision could be the largest wipeout of black political power since the end of Reconstruction. That's how devastating.
Notice what he said. I want you all to listen to the wording very carefully because they're doing the same thing on the news. The only place they're not doing this is on social media because, you know, they got their stopping orders from the DNC to make sure that they're targeting Black Americans and they're making sure that they're making it a definitive situation. But I want to run this back for a second because this is what they're doing, not just with Roly-Poly Martin, Swollen Martin, Mr. Snorlax himself, right? 2 sizes over the moon himself. It's not just what he's doing, but all the other DNC news publications, they're doing the same thing. And I'm going to play it back, and I want to see if anybody catches what that is.
Black political power since the end of Reconstruction. This wipeout as well. That this decision could be the largest wipeout of black political power since the end of Reconstruction. This wipeout, well, that this decision could be the largest wipeout of black political power since the end of Reconstruction.
Did anybody catch what I'm trying to throw down there? Did anybody catch what Roly-Poly Martin just did versus what he's actually doing with this whole broadcast here? In case you didn't catch it, he said that this could be. He didn't say that this is. He didn't say that this destroys, this could. So he's playing in possibilities, right? When he's not even speaking the full truth of what happened, but he's still out there tossing out possibilities rather than definitive statements. And this is what the news have been doing, if you noticed. Because to tell the truth, if they say this is, that actually can be considered a lie. That could actually be considered libel. Excuse me. So they speak in the possibility speech rather than definitive speech. Let's run that back one more time.
Wipeout. Well, this Justice Lena Kagan said, and I've been saying this as well, that this decision could be the largest wipeout of black political power since the end of Reconstruction. That's how devastating this decision is.
Well, she's probably right. We don't know the exact impact of it, but all you can say good about it is it could have been worse. They could have taken the entire Voting Rights Act down. They did.
I'm sorry, family. We had to put a pause on that one. Hold the hell up. Shout out to Gearhead for this one. Shout out to Gearhead for this one. God dang it. Roland the Hutt is just like his Uncle Jabba. All about the money. God dang it, man. Shout out to you for that one right there. Because Roland does look like a Jabba the Hutt wannabe or a cosplaying Jabba the Hutt in the face. Godly. All right, let's continue.
But what Lawyer Hewitt was just saying is by requiring an intent, you've made it virtually impossible to prove a case. People are sophisticated. They know what words to
Notice he said virtually impossible. Notice he didn't say you made it impossible, because it's not impossible. It isn't impossible. Usually whenever these cases are brought up, usually the tools that they use in their toolbox is about fair representation, competitive elections, accountability, and structural bias in map designs. These are all arguments that have been used previously that doesn't have nothing to do with race. You can use those arguments. Those are statutes that I don't want to say statutes, but that right there, those four things that I named, it's the typical, it is basically the template. So when you say, well, we can't use race, what about institutional legitimacy? Trust in democracy, right? You know, you could argue that perceived manipulation undermines trust in elections. You know, even if legal, heavily screwed maps can make voters feel the system is rigged, you can argue a lot of different things. You can argue polarization effect. You can argue that gerrymandering increases political extremism. I mean, there's so many different things. Geographic distortion, unnatural district shapes. You can say, hey, districts become artificial shaped and non-cohesive. There are a lot of different defenses or different ways that you can bring this to the court. So when you say that it is nearly impossible, that's if you just want to stick on the terms of race. Let's continue.
use and what words not to use. And as he has indicated, since African Americans are voting overwhelmingly Democratic and Republicans are voting overwhelmingly Republican, you can have a map that discriminates against African Americans.
I want you to understand what he just said, family. Let's run that back.
That this decision could be the largest wipeout of Black political power since the end of Reconstruction. That's how devastating this decision is.
Well, she's probably right. I mean, we don't know the exact impact of it, but all you can say good about it.
We don't know the exact impact of it. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. We'll get back to it.
It could have been worse. They could have taken the entire Voting Rights Act down. They didn't.
So he's admitting that all this woe is me, the sky is falling is all hyperbole. Let's continue.
But what Lawyer Hewitt was just saying is by requiring an intent, you've made it virtually impossible to prove a case. People are sophisticated. They know what words to use and what words not to use. And as he has indicated, since African Americans are voting overwhelmingly Democratic and Republicans are voting overwhelmingly Republican, you can have a map that discriminates against African Americans. But if you call it partisan, that your target was Democrats, the same map, according to these people, becomes legal.
Now, that is an assumption. That's assuming that Black Americans, wherever you're gerrymandering, vote Democrat overwhelmingly there. As I've been seeing, quite a few foundational Black Americans have been walking away from the Democratic Party. So it is no longer good enough to say, well, since black people vote majority Democrat and they're gerrymandering Democrats, not black people, then black people, of course, will be included. No, because right now the Democratic Party is a party full of illegals, illegal sympathizers, and immigrants. You can't just automatically assume that if they gerrymander a Democratic city, then they're gerrymandering black Americans. That is assumption. Continue.
So that didn't make any sense. If the map is illegal, that's why the effects test was so much better, because if you can show it has the effect of discriminating against African Americans, that ought to be enough. Now you got to show that not only does it have the effect of discriminating, it had the intent, not the intent.
Okay. See, he's being disingenuous, because if you can show the effect, that is fact-based. There is no intent needed when it comes down to showing voter delusion. Voter, if your votes are being diluted, and I'm going to say this once again, there's going to be a track record. There's going to be evidence of such. So that in itself is evidence of voter dilution. And since Section 2 was not tossed out, that is still a situation. But you cannot claim racism and automatically think that the courts are going to assume voter dilution because you claim racism. Continue.
Discriminating against Democrats, but the discrimination against African Americans. And what they do is they just get the script and read it into the legislative hearings and just declare themselves to be discriminating against Democrats. And the discriminatory map against African Americans, all of a sudden, according to the Supreme Court today, because partisan gerrymandering is okay, that illegal map now becomes legal. It's going to be virtually impossible to create a case against sophisticated wordsmiths who avoid using the wrong words during the legislative hearings. You're just stuck. It is a devastating case, and the devastating.
You know, listening to this dude here and listening to what Roland just admitted to, that, you know, gerrymandering takes place on both sides of on the aisle, and how we know that both parties target us specifically when gerrymandering. Everything that they're saying here at this point in time is just splaining. Family, I want you to do this when you have time, okay? You can go to ChatGPT, you use Gemini, and I want you to ask it, who will be affected the most by the Supreme Court's ruling? Will it be Black Americans, or will it be smaller groups? Make sure you use the words smaller groups, such as Asians, such as Indians. And watch what ChatGPT tells you. Watch what Gemini tells you. Watch what anyone that is truthful will tell you. It's not going to be us. It's going to be the smaller groups. Because they're the ones that depend on these districts in order to get what they need. The majority minority districts. That's benefits, for the most part, the smaller groups. Let's continue.
The impact of these guys, we're in the middle of mid-decade redistricting, as has been pointed out. They've done Texas, they've redone Missouri, they've gone after another seat in North Carolina. The Republicans have eliminated 7 districts. It's interesting to note that of the 7, 4 of the 5 in Texas are represented by Blacks or Hispanics. Missouri was Emmanuel Cleaver's district. Remember the Black Caucus, just like Don Davis in North Carolina. Remember the Black Caucus. There is a pattern to what they're doing. So their intent is clear. But to hide it under partisan rather than racial as it is just making it more difficult to prove the case. And so they
now, hey, if the intent is clear, then you should be able to go and prove it. See how you just articulated how the intent is clear? Then you should be able to go in front of a judge, in front of the Supreme Court, and articulate it in the very same way that you just did, right? Am I wrong? I could have sworn that's what you just did. Maybe I'm tripping. Shout out to our sister Rosemary in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, my sister Queen. Let's continue.
Really sabotage the Voting Rights Act by doing what they did today.
So Samuel Alito, he writes a 36-page opinion, and he says that the Constitution almost never permits the federal government or state to discriminate on the basis of race. I don't know what world he's living in, but that's literally what the Republican lawmakers are doing in these southern states. And to your point, very few are as dumb as we expect. They're not as dumb as the idiot Republicans were in North Carolina, where they actually put it in emails asking, hey, when do black people vote early? And that's what they said. That was a laser-like targeting of black voters.
They targeted black voters with surgical precision.
Right. And so they were so dumb they actually put it down on paper. And what they're now saying is that, oh, no, if they just simply say, no, we did not look at race at all. It was race neutral. And no, so if we're gonna grab 10% of blacks here and throw them over here, and we're gonna grab another percent and throw them over here, what they're saying is, oh no, so hey, I know your state might have 30, 35% blacks, but hey, those black people, they don't actually need representation. They should be able to elect a white Republican.
What they do, though, is they look at the Democratic vote. Which
beep, 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 beep. Yeah, I'm thinking about ham hocks and pork grinds right now, but maybe they should be able to actually offer something to get people to come out and cast their vote. Oh, yeah. Because it doesn't matter if the district is red or not. If you are quite literally offering tangibles, you'll have a 95% black turnout like Obama had. Obama had a 95% black turnout. And that was just because it was optics. Imagine what would happen if you actually offered us something. If you actually brought policies. If you actually wrote an anti-black hate crime bill. Understand. What you're saying only makes sense to you. Now, let me go over here and address some of these super chats real quick. Shout out to our good brother Reparations Nations, who's been a member for 8 months strong. Much love to you, my good brother. And thank you for all your contributions. Your donations are blessed tenfold, and I appreciate everything you do, my good brother. This isn't a wipeout of black FBA political power. This is a wipeout of democratic political power. Oh, yes, I love that you put it all in caps too, because that's exactly what it is. That's why they're scrambling. That's why they're running around chick-a-littling. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Well, you should have gave us the materials we needed to build an umbrella. A B1 salute to our good brother Claude Nilly Francis Amos for your Cash App, your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, my good brother. The DNC floods FBA communities with white aligning / anti-black immigrants, anti-FBA immigrants, and ignore FBA issues, yet has the nerve to believe FBA should vote for our own erasure and mistreatment. What a bunch of fools. What a fool believes. But I'm going to say, what a bunch of fools. Because I'm with you 100% fold. Only a foolish man would think that they would be able to disrespect me and then think that he can convince me to now move in the interest of somebody else while eliminating my own interests. Hell no. Hell no. And this is what these folks are now finding out. That this had a lot more power than you thought it did, didn't it? Let's continue.
If you do an overlay, it's the same as the black vote. And when you discriminate against the Democrats, you are necessarily, in voting patterns all over the South, discriminating against blacks. And they want to get away with it by calling it partisan rather than racial. And I can tell you, they're telling themselves, because these people are not against partisan redistricting. There's legislation pending in the House now to prohibit partisan redistricting, so you have fair maps, not a Republican co-sponsor. We passed legislation a couple of years ago to prohibit. It included a prohibition against partisan gerrymandering, and all of them voted against that. If we're going to have fair maps, you cannot allow partisan gerrymandering. And when the Supreme Court essentially allowed that, they gave the green light to all kinds of mischief, including racial discrimination, because you can have a racially discriminatory map, but if you declare, oh, I wasn't discriminating on race, I was discriminating on party, all of a sudden the map becomes legal.
Family, why is this man speaking as if these parties haven't been moving like this? Why is he speaking as if this is a new horizon we have dawned upon? This is what y'all been doing on both aisles. You sit here, you gerrymander black Americans out of their votes, or you basically gerrymander us in a way where our votes really only count towards you. But while we're asking you and demanding what's owed to us, you're like, oh no, we got to take care of the Asians first. We got to take care of the Indians. We got to take care of the undocumented. We got to take care of everybody. You just got to sit back and watch. But they all did it on a different basis. None of them has ever said it was on race, whether it was the Republicans, the Republicans, or the Democrats, the Democrats. Neither side has ever came out and just said, hey, this is really about race. This is about making sure that those black Americans over there don't have as much power to say who gets in power over here in California, or who gets in power in New York, or who gets in power in Washington. It's just all of a sudden a new horizon that we have dawned upon. Congratulate yourselves, family. You've made it to the next level. I didn't even know we were playing a video game, but apparently you've made it to the next level. This is a cutscene. Let's continue.
Any sense? They're discriminating.
This is Damien. This is from the SCOTUS blog, this was interesting. And guys, pull it up when you see it. They said, in this case, Alito said Louisiana's goal in adopting the 2024 map was racial. The state enacted it in the wake of the lower court's finding that the 2022 map likely violated Section 2 and sought to avoid having the court impose a different map that would have created a second majority black district, but which would also have, quote, have imperiled one of the influential incumbents the legislature sought to protect. The state did not have the kind of compelling interest that would have justified considering race in drawing the 2024 map, Alito wrote, because, quote, the state did not need to create a new majority-minority district to comply with the act. Yeah. That is because at every step of the Gingell's framework, the black voters challenging the 22 map failed to prove their case. Okay.
Shout out to Only Us in the building. Thank you for this comment. FBAs don't eat first, and damn it, Nobody eats. And that is the mindset. And that is what's scaring the hell out of the Democratic Party. That is what's got them running around here screaming the sky is falling, because they have seen their political power slip right between their fingertips. And it's because of them alone. You can't blame the Republicans, and you can't blame us. You must put the blame on the onus on where it's supposed to be, which is on the Democratic Party. I mean, it is that simple. You're seeing your power slip away because you're understanding now you're going to have to make sure we eat first if you want our vote. Oh, yeah, all the Democratic shills that's been running around here trying to make us look like a hate group or try to make us look like we're dangerous. We're Republican shills and all this other stuff. No. We are foundational Black Americans with a foundational Black American interest. And if you're not speaking to that foundational Black American interest, then guess what? You're in a world of hurt. And now that this has just been passed, and now you can't be sitting here using the same tool that you was using for all these decades. You're going to have to come with hat in hand. You're going to have to come knocking on that door. And I'm going to open it and be like, we've been waiting for you. We're looking for a reparations trick if you want my vote too. That's what they don't want. That's why they're so pissed off. That's why they're running around here trying to make it look like this is the end all be all, even though they're saying it right here. They're quite literally contradicting themselves. Hey, you and me both. Shout out to y'all rules on this one. I'm just waiting on the 14th Amendment decision. You and me both. When that happens, we will have another impromptu if it's not on the day that I'm already broadcasting. And if it is on the day I'm already broadcasting, whatever I'm broadcasting is going to have to wait. That's going to be put on the back burner. So if it drops this weekend, one of the two goddamn broadcasts that I'm going to do this weekend, yes, one of those is going to be pushed to the back burner whether I want to or not. We're going to definitely get into that. Shout out to our good brother MPC in the building. Our brother, much love to you, and thank you for your contribution. Your Cash App and Super Chat is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. We can all suffer together if that's what they truly want. Oh, love it. Jason Black says it best. He says, what? We can all live comfortable, or we can all live equally uncomfortable. The decision is yours. And the Democrats have been making their decisions for all this time. They're just pissed off that we're making them stand on their decision. Shout out to you, my good brother, and thank you for your contribution once again. Let me also give a B1 salute to our good brother, Levon. Much love to you, my good brother. Thank you for your Cash App donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family, as well as the Big Black God. Much love to you, my brother, and make sure you're safe out there on the road. Your Cash App is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always as well, family. Let's let them continue.
But correct me if I'm wrong. The Supreme Court allowed the creation of this. They didn't overrule the lower court's ruling. They affirmed it.
My home state of Louisiana violated the Voting Rights Act. In fact, before the Shelby County decision in 2013, every Louisiana redistricting plan, House at least redistricting plan, that was submitted for preclearance was found to be violative, or at least opposed by DOJ or federal court.
Family, I'm not going to lie. This man looks like he could smoke one hell of a brisket. Bull S you not. This man looks like he can smoke one hell of a brisket. But I digress.
Every decennial sentence, every decade. So Louisiana has not changed its stripes. And you're right. That's the starting point, is that Louisiana discriminated against Black voters, period. What Alito is saying, and I guess the rest of the convoluted passage from Justice Alito goes on to essentially say that, well, they didn't prove intentional racial discrimination. And unless you can prove intentional discrimination, then you cannot have this kind of remedy. But there's another piece of what he said that's really the gut punch to us, to Congressman Scott, to all of us, which is there's no requirement that just because a state could create a second or an additional majority black district that it must. But that's been the hallmark. It's essentially taxation without fair representation. It's having so many black people in your state, in states like Louisiana, Texas, which still has more black people, I think, your home state, than almost anywhere else.
Yeah, more eligible black voters in Texas than any state in the country.
Exactly, right? So it's saying that.
Oh man, Jamal. Not brisket babble. Oh, that takes babbling to a whole different level. You got tether babble. You got Latino babble, or the taco babble. You got Goya babble, and now we got brisket babble. Thank you very much for that. That is going into the FBA dictionary. Tether babble is up there, but brisket babble, you just took the cake, family. Shout out to you for that. Congratulations. Family, make sure to put that into your inner psyche. God dang it, all this brisket babble going on. And Roly Poly Martin, he be doing a lot of brisket babbling too. But he got brisket and tether babble going on with him. Let's continue.
At states like that, even see this, what this is, Roland, is this is the evil genius answer to demographic shift.
Yes.
You know that 3 million, additional 3 million people / voters in Texas over a decade period, which is why Texas was crying that it should have gotten another seat in Congress, right? So their answer is, well, if we're not going to get additional seat, we're just going to take more for certain people, right? So the demographic shift, though, was mostly Latino and black voters.
So hold on, Congressman Scott has to go, but Congressman, I want to get you the last.
Family, come on, Damon. Oh, David, why you have to do that to me?
We can't keep doing this shit, man.
Him and Roland suck on each other's other rib bones. Golly. They just trading off bones, huh? Damn. That hit me hard. Pause. Let's continue.
Tom, you still there? Congressman, this is what Damon just said, and I have been saying this here. What all of this is, 2008 was the first time in American history that a larger percentage of black voters voted for the presidential election than white voters. And I said then, black people, the war is about to begin.
Family, this man did not bring up Barack Obama. He did not bring up Barack Obama as if that was the call to action that he was claiming at the time. He was not. He was not. This man wasn't talking about, oh, they're going to come after the black vote because Obama got into office. Because when Obama got in office, he didn't do nothing for black people. Tell me I'm wrong. Name me one tangible policy that Barack Obama put on the books for foundational black Americans. You can't, but you can name all the different things that he done for LGBTQ, 23 different freaking policies. You can name everything that he was doing for the Top Hat community, even though none of their oppression happened here in America, but he damn sure did that for them. He boosted the stock market that ended up funneling over $100 trillion over to the Nabisco community, further extending the racial wealth gap. He bailed out the banks while leaving the people that the banks targeted with predatory lending, foundational black Americans, on the hook for those very same loans. Many of the people had their homes taken from them, foreclosed, because of a predatory practice. And Obama went and bailed those banks out while leaving the black grassroots to lay in the dirt. DACA for the illegals. Name me one goddamn thing that Barack Obama has done for foundational black Americans besides telling us that's not how America works when he was asked why not target the black community. And if it was that situation, if that was the case, if they've been waiting to do this, when Trump got into office the first time around, they could have done it. Do I need to say that again? When Trump got in office the first time around, they could have done it then. If that was their whole game plan. If their whole game plan was to do what they did here, why didn't they do it in 2016 when Trump still had the majority sitting on the damn bench anyway? This is my point. I've been warning y'all since Barack Obama got into office that this was going to come down the pipeline. And you also said reparations was a pipe dream. You think anybody's listening to anything you have to say? Oh, I'm sorry. I might have hurt some of the roly-poly Martin fans that was in here. I saw my numbers drop off after I mentioned, nobody listens to Roland. But that's okay. We're not here for everybody. We're here for the ones. And the ones know who the ones are, and the twos know that they're twos. Just like a 7 knows that it is a 7. Go ahead and run back to Roly-Poly Martin and tell him I'm doing a live stream on his nonsense. Do your thing. No worries. Now, for the real ones in the building, salute to each and every one of you who ain't here because, you're trying to figure out what I was going to say about Roland. No. You here because it actually affects you. You're here because you are actually a part of the black grassroots. You are the new black media. You're here because you are in the very same way that I am. So let's continue, shall we? Shout out to our good brother, still Kevin Trees. Rolling sweet cooking oil. Rolly be wiping his goddamn forehead and using his sweat as cooking grease. That's how greasy he is. Anyway, I digress. Shout out to our good brother, Jesse Paris, in the building as well. Let's continue.
Everything since then has been a massive attack on black voting rights and black political power.
So why wasn't the Democrats doing anything about it? Why didn't Biden do something about it? He had the presidency, he had the House, he had the Senate, and none of the Democrats looked around and say, hey, maybe we should codify the Voters' Right Act. I don't know. Maybe we should do something for foundational black Americans, to make sure that they're going to be protected, because we know that, these Republicans are attacking black progression. You know why they didn't do that? Because they were too busy doing what Obama did when he got into office. Tell me I'm lying. And I'll call your ass a goddamn liar on top of that. If I'll be a liar, you will be a liar. But the truth of the matter is, there's only one person that can prove that what I'm saying is correct, and that is you guys. Well, not one person, but you know what I meant. Let's continue.
And John Roberts, the Chief Justice, has been the biggest driver because he is always, along with Clarence Thomas, wanted to completely get rid of the Voting Rights Act.
And didn't I say, I showed here on the broadcast yesterday that was a talking point, but they don't explain if that is the case. If he's been hyper focused on this since Ronald Reagan, then please explain to me how he's been sitting on the goddamn Supreme Court. And when 2016 came along, he's on the Supreme Court. The Republicans got the majority on the Supreme Court. Why didn't they do it then? If his whole tunnel vision has been about removing this, And this isn't me caping for any side. I just want us to be able to take what people say, put it on the table, and look at the logic of the situation. Put it on the table and look at the logic of the situation, because when you put it on the table, you see that it doesn't sit right. You can't put shit on the table and expect me not to know that it's shit. What is their feces doing on my dinner table? If he's been plotting this since the time of Reagan, why didn't Biden do something about it? Why didn't the Democratic House, the Democratic Senate, they had all three. Why didn't y'all do something about it? And if you ask them these questions, they're going to talk in circles, because that's all Roland is good for, is talking in circle, because, you know, he's one big circle himself. His circumference is about the circumference of the equator. And I'm surprised I'm able to see a walking planet in Roland Martin on this planet. I was told when I was younger, and y'all please let me know if y'all was told this too, in order to see a planet, in order to see a star, you need a telescope. Well, apparently, we no longer need a telescope or anything like that as long as Roly-Poly Martin is walking around here. I mean, you got Jupiter walking around on Earth and nobody's supposed to notice. not Planet Hulk. Oh, yes. Love it. Now, family, we're not going to continue with the rest of this because I got somewhere else I want to go with this as well. But I just wanted you to know, like I said, he's going to be one of the first. And I meant like with the show, but he wasn't the only. When we come back, we got to get into another person who's lost their district in the same way. I guess, well, due to gerrymandering, that is. But before we go there, let me give a B1 salute to our warrior brother, Black Truth United, our queen sister, Brooke, our good brother, Greg Marcel Dixon, for everything y'all do in behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, within the scenes. Much love to each and every one of you. Let's get into it.
Introducing the B1 Rolodex, the easiest way to search for and support FBA and B1 businesses. Hundreds of entries from the Black grassroots for the Black grassroots. Free to use, free to download, constantly updated. Trouble navigating the document? Try using the map version. Notice a business missing? Use this simple Google form to submit an FBA or B1 business. Also submit anti-Black businesses, which are now being collected in that last tab. Find resources, contact numbers, and much more using the second tab. All the info you need to start practicing group economics today. Go to blacktruthunited.com. That's blacktruthunited.com.
Evenmelanin.com. New healthier glass bottles. No microplastic, can't be wrong. Smooth and even, let the glow begin. Melanin, age with grace at Even Melanin. Melanin, radiant skin where beauty's from within. Melanin, feel the love with Even Melanin. Evenmelanin.com.
They say doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. I say it's stupidity. We as Black Americans have been voting for the Democrats with over 90% of our votes going to them for the past 60 years. And what do we have to show for it? I'll tell you. We are 15 to 20% of the population, but nearly 60% of the homeless. We have aborted over 20 million of our black babies. Our wealth is heading backwards, and we own less homes now than we did during Jim Crow. I'm not saying vote for the Republicans. I'm saying don't vote for any party. Vote for good policies. If anyone comes to us and they ask for or demand the black vote, you tell them to show me your black policies.
I am Greg Marcel Dixon, and I approve this message.
Shout out to the family. Shout out to the family. And somebody contacted me last week and asked me, what do I charge in order to do promotions on my my platform? If you are a B1, if you are a foundational Black American that stands on code and stand on business, shoot me your goddamn promotion. You know, I will take segments. I will make a segment in order to promote your business if you are on code. I don't charge when it comes to that. I'm going to be 100 with you because I rather further our family. That's what family do. You dig what I'm saying? So when it comes down to you having a business, if you have any type of advertisement, send them over, especially if you're on code, and I'll make sure they get played. Now, if you're one of those off code dudes, I'm going to be charging you. I'm going to be hitting you in the ribs, baby. Pause. You dig? But before we move forward, I want you all to guess, because, you know, Roland said last time previously that we use him to get numbers. But then when we looked at his numbers was incredibly low, especially in comparison to my own numbers. And I'm a smaller channel. I'm a way smaller network. This man has 1.9 million subscribers. So I want to ask you, family, in the chat, before we move on to the next segment, how many people do you think he got likes from versus how many people watched the broadcast or his show, his program? Do you think it was a lot? Do you think it was a little? Do you think it was somewhere in between? Take an educated guess, if you will. Don't worry, I won't leave you in suspense. For a platform that has 1.9 million people following him, got 2,500 views. 2,500 views, 162 likes. Family, in comparison right now, we got 427 people in the chat and 315 likes. He had 10 hours. I've only been on for an hour and 26 minutes. This should show you how unimportant this man is. Hell, let's not even talk about yesterday. Shit, yesterday, by the time I ended, I had 3,400 views. Within an hour, I had another 34 or something like that, because I ended up with like 7K views within the hour after that. And if you go look right now from last night, I'm sitting at 9.8 thousand views. But this man got 1.9 million subscribers. I only have, I don't even know how many subscribers I have right now. Where was I at? Hold on. I got to look and see. There you go. 2.93K. That's how many subscribers I have versus you, Roland. And sir, it doesn't seem like you're getting the message across. But the Black Grassroots, the message is the message. Our message is the message. Your message ain't getting across. Our message is the cross that we bear. See, that's the difference between me and you, Roland. That's the difference between you and Black Alpha. That's the difference between you and Jason Black. That's the difference between you and Tariq Nasheed. That's the difference between you and Afro Elite. That is the difference between you and ZZ. That is the difference between you and Lisa Corbera. That's the difference between you and each and every one of us, Nick, Vicky Dillard, every one of us. And you won't get that because, you know, you're still living in denial. But as my grandpa Paul used to tell me when I was younger, denial just isn't a river in Egypt. Now, for the next part. Yes, my brother, you too, my brother Jesse Paris as well. And when I say all of us, I mean each and every one of us, whether you have a platform or not. The black grassroots, the new black media. That's who I'm speaking about specifically, not just people who sit behind microphones. I'm talking about us versus them. Now, to move forward, we got to talk about somebody who lost their district due to things such as this. Yeah. Let's go ahead and got a player drop.
Brain fried, scrambled like eggs in a skillet. Ooh. Thoughts running loose. Ooh. Can't even pin it. Ooh. Opinion spilling. Nonsense offended. Logic took a vacation. She ain't in it. Ooh. Caught in the fog, lost in the static. Ideas chaotic, vibes erratic. Speeches gymnastics, flips acrobatic. Words land hard, awkward and tragic. Ooh. Dumber than a box of Crockets. Lost keys, no pockets. Talking loud, no logic. Every thought catastrophic. Dumber than a box of Crockets. Every move out of pocket.
Yeah, family. Jasmine Crockpot then stuck her head out. You know, I ain't really been hearing nothing ever since she lost her seat there. I haven't really been hearing anything from her ever since she had her real nigga wake up call. Ever since those Latinos said, no, we don't want that hoe. No, that hoe got to go. Ever since her own party moved against her and got her kicked out of that seat. Yeah, we ain't seen her. But all of a sudden yesterday, all this, she put up this right here and she named this, and I want y'all to see the name. Black Lady Courtroom. SCOTUS attacks voters. Oh, yeah. And you can see who's all here. Y'all see Angela Cry. Yeah, Angela Cry is right down there. Where's that Elizabeth chick? There goes that Elizabeth chick, that Elizabeth Houston chick. There go Courtney. That's Taylor. Oh, there go Jasmine. Hey, Jasmine. Let's hear what these ladies had to say, shall we? All tethers. Thank you. I was waiting on someone to put that in the chat. Oh, and the woman who argued the case is here as well. Janae Nilsson. She's right here. Hold on. There we go. She's right here. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into what Black Lady Courtroom looks like, shall we? Because, you know, I don't rock with HBO in the sense like that. Ever since what they did with Michael Jackson, I haven't watched anything on HBO. So when those four chicks, including Quinta, that other tether there later, was doing that whole little sketch comedy crap, I wasn't paying attention to it, but I did see a clip with the Black Lady Courtroom from that show. And I said it then. Oh, this is just buffoonery. Why? Because of the way that they made it seem like things would get done if it was just an all Black Lady Courtroom. But even in that skit, they showed you that nothing gets done, especially when it's a bunch of tethers. So here we have a live instance of a Black Lady Courtroom. And let's see, do you guys think that they're going to be speaking the facts to life? Or are they going to be doing more fear mongering? I know you guys know the answer. Let's just get to it.
So I am not going to say much, but hopefully you are tuned into the.
Thank God for that. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, baby Jesus and the grown Jesus too. Thank you. Thank you, Most High. I appreciate you. To the cause, she ain't going to be doing too much talking. Thank God. Whoo! All praise to the Most High for that. Oh, man, I got worried for a bit.
Right thing. It's Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and I am joined by a lot of amazing women that are smarter than I am, and we are going to have a conversation.
Well, Jasmine, you know, that's not too hard to be. You know, it's not too hard to be Jasmine Crockett and have people smarter than you because, you know, well, maybe I should just say it again. Play it one more time for me.
Brain fried, scrambled like eggs in a skillet. Ooh. Thoughts running loose. Ooh. Can't even pin it. Ooh. Opinion spilling. Nonsense offended. Logic took a vacation. She ain't in it. Ooh. Caught in the fog. Lost in the static. Ideas chaotic. Vibes erratic. Speeches gymnastics. Flips acrobatic. Words land hard, awkward, and tragic. Ooh. Dumber than a box of Crockett's. Lost keys, no pockets. Talking loud, no logic. Every thought catastrophic. Dumber than a box of Crockett's. Every move out of pocket.
Oh, I see. I have some Jasmine Crockett fans that was in here too. Okay, let's just get rid of all of them. Damn it. Let's get rid of all of them. Oh, yes. You didn't even think Jasmine Crockett was going to be a part of this. I know you didn't see her on the thumbnail. And you just popped in and was just so surprised. You don't like the way I speak on Jasmine. I understand. But you can't tell me I'm lying. No, you can't. Anyway, like I said, it's not too hard to be smarter than a box of rockets. Excuse me, a box of Crockett's. Let's continue.
About what took place in the Supreme Court today, what that looks like going forward, and what it is that we can do to hopefully stop some of the bleeding that we are experiencing in this country. But I am going to turn it over to the woman of the hour, who is going to be in the history books so long as we're allowed to have history books, because of her next level of advocacy. Don't be fooled by this.
No, she's going to be in the history books because she's the attorney that lost. She lost. She's a loser. That's what she's going to be in the history books for. Losing. Just like you're going to be in the history books for losing. You know how Cat Williams say you have an unhealthy connection to losers? Well, Jasmine, she don't have that. That's not an issue for her. Like attracts like, so loser attracts loser. But let's continue, shall we?
Decision into believing that that is a reflection of the advocates that argued, that is a reflection of the dereliction of duty as it relates to the people that serve on the court. But this amazing, fierce Black woman, yes, I said Black woman because, you know, we constantly trying to save this country from itself.
Notice how she just once again, see, you ain't learned nothing. You ain't learned jack squat. You ain't learned anything. Because you're sitting here talking about, oh, you know, we've got Black women because we're the ones trying to save the country. You ain't got enough of losing. These are all Democratic shills. These are all, whether you know it or not, I can quite literally tell that they are. These are all sorors. All of these women are in some sort of sorority. I guarantee it. I know Angela Rye is. I know Jasmine Crockpot is. I know Courtney is. I know Janae Nelson is. I know Elizabeth is. I don't know about Jasmine, but Jasmine Burton, I believe she is one too. I believe A.B. Burns is. I believe Taylor is. I believe Julie is. I believe each and every one of these women on this goddamn panel is running around here because they're connected in one major way, and that is through their sorority groups and organizations. So, of course, none of you are going to come out speaking the goddamn truth, and you got all these goddamn attorneys on the goddamn panel. You got 10 people here. 10 people. And out of those 10 people, at least 8 of them have law degrees, if not all of them. Because I know Angela Rye used to work in law. Excuse me, Angela Crybaby. You know, Wambalam's Ange. You dig me? Well, let's continue. I digress.
That is Attorney Janae Nelson argued this most recent case out of Louisiana that is truly sending shockwaves through this country. So with that, I want to pass it over.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, everyone. As I said, when I first joined on the screen, I could not think of a better community of people to be with in this moment. Obviously, we got a terrible decision from the Supreme Court today. Terrible not only because it did not do justice, it did not render the result that was absolutely compelled by the facts and the law.
Shout out to Lala Brown in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for this comment, because I'm actually going to be doing a whole, well, it's not going to be a whole. On my broadcast Saturday, I'm going to be actually tossing up her Cash App for Chef Marilyn. Much love to her. Much love to everything that she's done in LA ever, because she's been there before I was born, to be honest with you. So, you know, LA has major love for Chef Marilyn, period, point in black. So on Saturday, I definitely will be putting up her Cash App, because I know that they're fundraising in order to get the funds in order to fight those crooked ass 304 lawyers that stolen her stuff. Yeah, we're gonna get on that as well. But much love to you, and thank you for bringing that up, because god dang it, I know our good brother Black Vanguard is down there also holding it down with our sister Camilla Moore, who's also stomping hard for her. So yeah, we definitely got to make sure everybody understands the gravity of what's happening out there in Los Angeles when it comes down to Chef Marilyn. Much love to you, and much love to her. Let's continue, shall we?
But really, when you take a look at this decision, it's an abomination. It is such an indictment of the court itself and how it has wholly lost its way. When I think of all the different principles and rights that had to be trampled on in order for Alito and the 5 other justices who joined him to get to this decision, it's something that extends well beyond even the Voting Rights Act. This.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. You can catch me. You want to talk about trampling on voters' rights? You want to talk about trampling on voters? We sat here and told you all that these people were being put into our communities. Our resources are being siphoned away and given to them while they're over here committing crimes and hurting our community. Each and every one of you sat there and rah-rahed for illegals. Every situation. There has not been one situation that Black Americans said, hey, this is hurting our community, that any one of these women stood up and said, hey, we got to stop this because this is actually hurting the Black community. No, Jasmine Crockpot took it upon herself to throw everybody, any and everybody on her shoulders. She should have been worrying about having a good wig to lay on those shoulders, but she never worried about that. She was too busy worrying about the illegals. She was too busy worried about Canadians. She was worried about Mexicans. She was worried about Ukraine. But in that very sense, They were stepping on our votes. They were stepping on our rights. No one said anything. So now that the political power of the Democrats is now looking very narrow, all of a sudden, yeah, this is just the most travesty. This is tragic. Like we living in a world of everybody hates Chris. But what were you guys doing before this decision came down? Hindering the Black community. Let's continue.
Group of justices discarded stare decisis, which we know requires them to follow past precedent. They trampled on separation of powers, which requires them to defer to Congress and Congress's determination of federal legislation that they passed. And they trampled on the fundamental right to vote. I mean, just writ large. So this decision to me signals.
You mean like how you guys are trampling on the fundamental right to vote by shutting down the government because you don't want ICE agents at the voting polls? You mean something like that? I mean, one can deduce that you're doing the exact same thing and just in a different way. And that's what the Democratic Party has always done. They've done the same thing that Republicans have been doing to us, but just in a different way. And then they want to point the finger and say, well, we didn't do this to you. Look at those mean old Republicans that just came straight out with their blatant racism. At least we did it with a smile. Don't that count for something?
A lack of any judicial restraint on the part of this court. And I'll say something else. One of the biggest concerns to me is that people may take away from this decision that it isn't as devastating as it is, because Justice Alito went through great pains to say that he was merely updating something, or he was updating the test for Section 2 enforcement, and he was clarifying this or that. I call bullshit on the whole thing, okay? He gutted the Voting Rights Act along with 5 other justices.
Now notice what she just said versus what the congressman just said, where he had to admit that it was not really gutted. They could have just tossed it away, but they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They just raised the burden of proof. And she's an attorney, so she understands the gravity and she understands exactly what's happening here. She knows that they raised the burden of proof. And then she also knows that there's other avenues, but she's concentrating on trying to what? Fear-monger you and I. Shout out to Willie Gross for this. Much love to you and thank you for being here, family. Oh, well, I'm glad the Supreme Court did what they did. I hope South Carolina will redistrict Sambo Clyburn out of his seat like Texas did Jasmine Crockpot. Oh, man, I pray for the day. I pray for the day we gonna be up in here getting real petty with it. As a matter of fact, God dang it, we gonna get way too petty with it. You know how we do with it. As a matter of fact, I think we should be doing it here. You know, Jasmine Crockpot, she's wallowing, and you got all these people wallowing, showing their faces. Roly Poly Martin is all defeated. I think it calls for a nice little dance session, shall we? Oh, yeah, family. The black grassroots have the right to be as petty as we want to be right now. Especially, see, this is the reason why I wanted to take the time yesterday to break it down so that when we got to this situation here where we got all the shills, woe it is me in and all this other stuff, we can laugh at them because God dang it, we know what the truth is. And they just want to scare you to the polls once again. Well, how is that working out for you? I've been talking to a lot of people since yesterday. And I've been asking them, hey, what you think about the SCOTUS situation? And most foundational Black Americans that I've spoken to today, they said the same thing that I said to you guys yesterday. Why should I care? Nothing changed. It just is an appearance of change. And I'm like, you absolutely right. I'm surprised that so many people I came across gave me that basic answer. It's like, I really don't care. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway. Both parties are racist as hell anyway. I'm like, okay, all right. That means that we are moving the needle away from those folks over there who want to keep those type of people scared as hell. See, just a year ago, when I was on the campus of Texas Southern University, they wasn't talking like this. Oh no, it was, if you voted for Trump, this is just horrible and I gotta leave Texas and all this other stuff. With some of the same people that I've asked who've had to come to terms that both parties are very much the same. Oh, they're sounding a lot different nowadays. That means the Black grassroots are getting to people. That means that the new Black media are reaching people. And that's what it is. And with every ear that we reach, with every person that tells another person that used the telephone game to pass the message of Black empowerment to the next Black person, the next foundational Black American, with every one, the Democratic Party is getting more pissed and more pissed and more pissed. And what pisses them off even more than that is the fact that we're telling people, hey, don't go running over to the Republican plantation just because you don't like the Democratic plantation. That is not the way to go. So they can't say, oh, y'all just Republicans, you're just MAGA, this, that, the third. No, quite literally telling people do not run from one plantation to the next. Quite literally telling people we are foundational Black Americans and we have foundational Black American issues. And if those issues aren't being addressed, hand your wannabe politician a tissue. If you ain't going to listen to my issue, here's a tissue. Go cry about it. We're done with you. The tides are turning and these people cannot take it. And they're trying to continue the same narrative because they haven't figured it out yet. We have shifted into a new world and the world is forming in a way that they don't understand yet. But it's not just them. The Nabisco don't understand it yet either. The only people seeing how this world is actually shaping up and actually is coming into a new is foundational Black Americans. The Most High told us this was going to happen. We're going to be taken into a new heaven and earth. And we're going to be the ones moving things. What's happening right now? Everywhere you're looking, every damn where you looking, they can't scare us back onto the plantation because we know that we're the movers and shakers. And what we say, go. And what we do will send out ripple effects throughout the universe. But they were sending out their shields trying to convince you guys that we didn't have any power. Well, look around, family. Do it sound like we got some power?
And as I said, to do that, he's trampled on so many other things. This is pure gaslighting. And if you're going to take our rights away, if you're going to destroy what the Supreme Court once called the crown jewel of civil rights legislation, if you're going to put this multiracial democracy in a backwards tailspin, own it. If you're that bold to do it, just say what you're doing. Don't try this mind game of I'm still upholding this, and you can still prove these cases. Justice Thomas said it quite plainly in his concurrence. He said, if it were up to me, Section 2 would not apply to any redistricting. And that's effectively what they've done. So the short of it is,
that's not what they done. Because he just, and see, she's contradicting herself in real time. If that's what they did, then why would he said, if it was up to me, then race wouldn't be looked at in a situation at all when it comes to redistricting? That means that it's still there because it's not up to him. But then she says, that's essentially what they just did. Which one is it? If it was up to him, he would get rid of it, or they essentially already got rid of it. Shout out to Miss TT in the building, formerly known as T. Wilborn. Oh, my bad, my sister. I called you my brother yesterday. I guess that's why you went and put the Mrs. on there, huh? Shout out to Mrs. TT. God dang it. I apologize for yesterday. Formerly known as T. Wilborn. I never voted blue no matter who. That shit don't make no sense. You can look at the community. FBA lineage blessings. Much love to you, my sister queen, and thank you for your contribution. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution as always, my warrior sister. And I truly do apologize for yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like thinking about I just straight up just called her my brother, you know. And shout out to you again, once again, for your additional cash app, your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my sister. Thanks for all you do. FBA lineage on the rise, and we are one of a kind people. You are absolutely correct. We are the Alis of this world. Ain't gonna be another one. Ain't nobody gonna be as pretty as us. Ain't nobody gonna have the moves like we do. And while we're moving, they're going to be watching our feet. And while they're watching our feet, we hitting them with the rope-a-dope. Knockout. Shout out to you, my sister. Shout out to our good brother, Claude, Nelly, Francis, Amos. Once again, for your super chat, your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, good brother. The DNC wants to scare FBAs to vote for them. Nina Simone said freedom means free of fear. Oh, yes. Showed it. The love we have for one another is the greatest threat to the people who rule over us. Dr. Amos Wilson, shout out to you for that, because that's 100% facts. Y'all notice that, family? Ever since we became more codified in ourselves, ever since we started just, worrying about us, telling everybody, hey, if that's what you want to do, okay, cool, you got to do it over there, though. We're over here, we're just standing for us. We're standing on our square. We're minding our business. If you ain't got nothing for us, hey, we're done with you. Oh, no, we're not coming out there to fight for you. Everybody hold their own nuts. The world has gone upside down. Showing the world that we love us before everybody else has drove these people crazy. Because we wasn't supposed to love ourselves more than everybody else. We've been the whipping mule of everybody else, don't you know? So we're supposed to be the whipping mule for everybody forevermore. And the fact that we said, no, I love myself too much to allow my next generation to die off so that someone else's generation can live. Yeah, we're not going to do that no more. Now everything stops. The world stops. Like a Beyonce song came on, the world stopped. And it took us to say, you know what? Yeah, carry on. Everybody come back together. Yeah, damn what they're doing, damn what they're going through, damn what they're saying. We know what we're doing. It's driving them mad. The unity that they say that we just can't get, why we're the only ones that can't come together. We've come together like nobody has ever done. And everybody sees it and hates it. They see it and they despise it. That's why they're doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down. They're doing all of that because we're showing the world that, hey, every lie they told about us, we're showing you right here, right now, that was a fabrication. We're standing on our square and we want what's owed to us. We're not just tap dancing around here like Stephen from Django Clyburn. Well, what do you want for your vote? Oh, I don't want nothing. That's because you've already been paid. Your family has already been receiving that dark money, those back alley deals. And like I said, on Sunday, we'll be talking about reparations and representation. This is what representation sounds like. For all the people who's new to what politics is about, we're politicking right here, whether people know it or not. They hate that we voted the couch. Just so you know, a non-vote is a vote. Not voting is a part of civics. You need, and all the people who say, you're just not voting, you're giving your vote away. Yeah, obviously, you didn't pay attention when you took a civics class. But maybe you need to go back and, do a couple more years in the civics class before you come and talk to the most politically savvy, people on the globe. But let's continue. I digressed a little bit there, family. Went on a little rant. Let me go ahead and give a B1 salute to Sean C., my sister queen. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as always, and thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, my warrior sister. It's funny how these shields are mentioning Clarence Thomas while one of his biggest supporters was Biden, who also led the Anita Hill hearing. Say that one more time for the people in the back of the classroom. Thank you for that, my sister queen. Yeah, they don't mention Biden whatsoever whenever they bring up Clarence Thomas. No. Shout out to A Law Solution. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always as well, family. Excuse me. The Democrats are always using the black females, absolutely, MOPs, melanated other peoples, to push out the emotional misleading politics so they can confuse the black vote and the gender war. Yes, sir. Shout out to you, family. Much love to you for that. That's what they do. That's what they do. Push emotionalism, because an emotional mind is an easily manipulated mind. They push the gender wars because they use emotion a lot, and who's the most emotional people on the planet is going to be women by logic. That's just what it is. Women are more emotional, men are more logical, and when you put them together, we have emotion and logic, and we have a balance. That's called evenly yoked. But when you use emotion to make all your decisions, yeah, you can be used and you can be abused. It's the same thing that they do with the mentally ill people. Yeah, they target mentally ill people And that's why you see so many crash outs when goddamn Kamala Harris lost. It was ridiculous. That's because a lot of people was off their psyche. They were off their meds. But let's continue.
Now, lawmakers, state legislatures, line drawers can draw maps that serve purely partisan interests, and they can manipulate voters on account of their race to advance these partisan aims, to have a political stronghold. A party can do that, and we can't do anything about it.
So there's no other remedy. See how she just said we can't do nothing about it. I just played you a congressman and an attorney right there on Roly Poly Martin's show that they had to admit that it ain't over. There's other avenues they have to take. There are other avenues that they're going to take, whatever the situation may have you. But she is sitting there talking about there is nothing we can do. Chicken Little. The sky is falling. Shout out to Still Kevin Trees. That's Young Jock right there. Not is it the one where he had the little slick perm? Is that the Young Jock you talking about with the little slick perm up the top? Looked like a wave, a pressed out wave on his head. Let's continue.
No real recourse unless we're able to prove that they used intentional discrimination. And we know how high that bar is. And we also know how clever and crafty people have become in hiding their own discrimination. So they've effectively left us with little to no recourse when we're facing discrimination line drawing. What that means in practical terms is that it's going to.
So notice, family, that she said there is nothing we can do. They left us no recourse. And now she just contradicted herself once again by saying they left us little to no recourse. And that's not true. That's not true. It's just the most used tool can't be used as much now, or you're going to have to prove why you need to use it. I mean, to be honest with you, you can have an argument for efficiency gaps, wasted votes. You can argue, hey, Your Honor, gerrymandering creates wasted votes at scale. I mean, there are so many different arguments that you can run with. But you're hanging your hat on the one that the Democrats have been used to, and it hasn't been used to our benefit as much as it should have. It's been used for other groups more than us. Oh, crap. Wrong one. Let's
be increasingly hard for Black voters, Latino voters, our growing Asian electorate, our Native American voters to elect candidates of their choice, people who they can hold accountable, people who answer to them. And that's important because that then ultimately impacts the policies that will be passed, the conditions in which we all live, and whether this country can really thrive as a multiracial democracy where everyone is represented and everybody has a voice in government and leadership. So that's what was destroyed today. It was destroyed. Let's be really clear. And that means that there's a mandate on the rest of us to do what we can with the time we have between now and these midterm elections, which may be the last elections we have, where there are maps that resemble anything close to potential fairness. And we already know so many of them are already corrosive and corrupted. And we already saw the spate of states today that rushed to their legislatures to get new maps passed. They won't be able to do it across the board. And we're prepared to attack those maps where we can and where there's evidence of discrimination. But beyond
where we can and where there's evidence of discrimination. So you're saying that you still have a way to attack. You see what I'm saying, family? Let these people talk long enough. And this is why I came to you guys yesterday. I knew this was going to happen. You knew this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen. And we're ahead of the time because everybody else is still tripping while we're sitting here laughing at these people. I don't even know what the hell. Man, you got so many things you could argue is ridiculous. You can argue, hey, you know, democracy weakens when elections have predetermined outcomes. Like I said, there are arguments that you can take to the courts that wouldn't be as extringent as having to argue for race. You can tell them if politicians can insulate themselves, voters lose leverage. And that's basically what's happening when you're gerrymandering. You're basically making sure that these politicians are insulated. Like I said, there's just a lot that you can bring to the courts. The fact that she's holding her head or hedging her bets on that one situation, that's what's concerning. Now, is it bad? Yes, it's bad, but it isn't the sky's falling bad. And it's worse for you Democrats, so, you know, and these other groups. But continue, because we're going to, matter of fact, I'm done with you here. Let's get over to here. 1 second.
The incomparable, the sis from Memphis 10, okay, where they say Maine. I'm gonna turn it over to Liz Booker. Many of y'all know her for cussing folk out because her mouth is like way worse than mine.
Oh, another pretend ratchet chick. You look at this woman right here, family. Look at this woman in her face. You telling me that woman was a ratchet? I don't even want to say ratchet. You're telling me that she's with the shits. She's with the kicks and giggles. You telling me Punky Brewster is over here with the shits and giggles? She's all about the get down to the get down? Nah, it's just another faker. Another faker. Just like Jasmine Crockpot. But continue, let's see.
Or just cracking jokes, or sometimes she's not even really joking. She just clowning people for real, and it sounds like she's joking. But you may not know that while she's a scientist, she also is a lawyer. So also known as just kind of doing too much.
So not only is she a scientist, not only is she a lawyer, but she's just as ratchet as you, is what you're telling me. You see how she tossed that in there because she thought it was going to give this woman credibility? It doesn't. It actually takes away from any credibility that she might have had.
That's her. So I'm going to turn it over to Liz to introduce our next legal eagle. To talk about some other portion of this, because I know we heard a few phrases that you may not fully understand. So I think we're going to back it up just a little bit and make sure that we really break this down so everybody can understand. So Liz, take it away.
Yes. So actually, I'm going to pass it very quickly to Angela Rye, our good sis, because she has a run. But I wanted to give her a moment to speak because I know this was such a last minute endeavor of getting everybody together, and I'm so appreciative. But I want to go ahead and give Angela just a moment to speak. And I know you wanted to comment briefly on the impact that this has specifically on the Congressional Black Caucus, especially since you're here with one of our CBC members.
Thank you so much. First of all, Jasmine and Liz, I hope y'all know anytime y'all say go, I'm riding with y'all till the wheels fall off. That's how we have to be, especially in this era. So thank God for you both and all that you do. I am going to get to that, Liz, but it's crazy because I really believe sometimes.
Notice what she said. Anytime you guys call, I'ma come running. Does that sound like somebody who actually care about the Black community or somebody who care about the blue community? All of these people, none of these people are Black. We already know that they're tethers, but none of these people are even skin color Black. These folks are quite literally blue. These are avatars you're looking at. And they're not even making the billions of dollars they should be making as avatars. No, they're just broke avatars. We don't give a damn about the Congressional Coon Caucus. I've said this several times over. We're supposed to care about them losing seats when they don't care about anything that we need in our communities. They have quite literally used their power to usurp all these different groups above us, while using the caucus that we put together for us to gain political power against us. So when Roly-Poly Martin's over there crying about how they're going to be losing a certain amount of seats in the Congressional Black Caucus, I don't give a damn. Good. G-O-O-D, good. I am happy that they're going to be losing seats because they didn't do nothing for us while they were in those seats. And while they're losing seats, I'm going to be sitting back looking like this. Now, before we let her continue, let me do this.
Send in the clowns. God just dropped something on your heart. And the thing that came to me while Janae was speaking, and for those of you who tuned in late, Janae Nelson, who leads the NAACP LDF, argued the case before the Supreme Court, and she was masterful. If you didn't listen to the oral arguments on Louisiana versus Calais, I really encourage you to go back and do that.
If she was so masterful, then why'd she lose? Oh, why did she lose if she was so masterful? I mean, a person who is so masterful in their craft, they wouldn't be a loser. You know, Johnny Cochran was never a loser. Johnny Cochran was masterful. And that's why they had to take him out, because he was so masterful. And the fact that he was going to do what the Democratic Party refused to, put a group of lawyers together to sue the American government for our reparations. That's masterful. She ain't that masterful because they didn't feel they needed to take her off the board.
There's a brilliant exchange between Janae and Justice Jackson that is phenomenal. So I really encourage you to do that. The thing that dropped on my heart about this decision today was the 3/5 compromise. And I'm bringing this up because we all know that this year is the 250th anniversary of the founding, from some people's perspective, of this country, July 4th, 1776. Well, in 1787, there was a United States Constitutional Convention. At that convention, they established the 3/5 compromise. Black folks know that well, because what we hear when we hear the 3/5 compromise is you only counted 3/5 of our humanity. That 3/5 of us would be.
Who is R? Who is R? Is she a pirate? I don't know who R is. I don't know who us is. Who is the people? Who are these people? Because you're not from here. You're a freaking tether. So how are you talking about R and we and us? Who are any of these folks?
Counted towards representation and taxation in the United States House of Representatives. We know that the
Jesus Christ, family. It's going to be one of those episodes that I see it.
We? We.
Angela, you are not a foundational Black American. Why are you talking about we? Why? Angela cry? I see what you need. You're in a hunkering for a little spanking. Go ahead, continue.
The other 2/5 of us didn't count. So in the most simple terms,
us, like I said, we are us. God dang it.
People know exactly what they're doing until they get exposed.
You got to use my history, my ancestors' history. And I can say this because I'm not one of you. Our ancestor history. And when I say our, I'm talking about foundational Black Americans. So you got to use it because you have nothing else. The Democratic Party has nothing else. So you just got to keep on going back to that history, ain't it? You got to shoehorn people into that history, don't you? Yeah, that ain't going to work, Angela Cry. Lettuce, tomato on the side. Miss Rye. Only rye I like is rye bourbon. So if y'all want to send me a birthday gift, you can send me some rye bourbon. And I'll treat that way better than you will ever see me treating no Angela goddamn Cry. Make sure it's a 20-year or something like that. You know, I can put it up and just save it for a good, you know. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue.
terms, what happened today when you dilute racial representation, when you refuse us the opportunity to be seen, heard, and represented well in Congress, when you refuse to give us another Jasmine Crockett. She's only one. We know we need more.
Nigga, please.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
When they refuse to give us another Jasmine Crockett. Family, we refuse to vote for a Jasmine Crockett. Why the hell would we want another one? Why? She's already not doing nothing for us. She's already fighting for everybody else except for the constituents in her district, or what used to be her district. She wanted to run for Senate just because they took the businesses out of her district. Do you think she cared about the Black folk that still lived in her district? No, she didn't. And that's why she wanted to go and run for the Senate. If you're going to take my money away here, then I can run for the Senate and get some money over there this way. All right. Continue.
Not even gonna have her in a minute because y'all didn't go out and vote in Texas, but that's a conversation for another day.
That was crazy.
For sure.
I don't even know what to say.
So why are you talking shit to us? You should be turning around talking that mess to Jasmine. Oh yeah, she didn't give anybody a platform. Especially a platform that target issues for her constituents. She didn't do that. So why are you sitting there talking about that's a conversation for another day? No, that's a conversation for right now. You should be talking to her because she's responsible for losing her seat. She's responsible for losing her election. She's responsible for not offering anything to the people who could have put her in the office. What are you talking about, Angela Cry? And may I just add, why is Angela looking as old as she's looking? Isn't she like, she just turned 40 or something like that? She ain't that damn old, is she? Why does this woman look like she needs to be a scarecrow in a scary movie? Why she look like she should be one of those, I don't, what are those things called? Those demons that was under Hellraiser? She looked like one of them. Throw me off. Shout out to our sister Naturally Torah in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen. Thank you for being here as always. Let's continue.
We have to understand is that now we are shrinking. Our representation will be shrinking. The way in which people advocate on behalf of us and our interests will be diluted. And that is.
It was already shrinking. It was already diluted because none of you, N-O-N-E of you was speaking towards our interest. Every one of you was speaking towards illegals, speaking towards god dang Asians, speaking towards defunding people who are responsible for kicking these people out of our country that ain't supposed to be here. You're too busy going up against the man, you say, quote unquote, I say that in air quotes, in order to protect the illegals who still get in this country and want to be like the man. I say that in air quotes, quote unquote. That our votes has always been diluted, at least within the last 10 years or so. Ever since y'all cracked open that border and that became your policy, you don't think that that dilutes that black votes? But continue.
What happened as a result of this decision today. So I encourage you to go back and look at the 3/5 compromise. That's in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the Constitution. I won't read it for time. Now, the most direct impacts are Cleo Fields, who's a member of Congress who once represented the Baton Rouge area in Congress, a member of the CBC, the district that they created, Louisiana, because of the demographic representation of Black people in Louisiana, needed, regardless of what the Supreme Court says, needed another congressional district. That is Cleo Fields' district. Now they are going to merge the districts between New Orleans and Baton Rouge and everything in between. So they're saying all of you Black people, despite this massive geographic difference, all need to be represented by one Black member. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, they're saying, I'm going to argue that this isn't even a 3/5 compromise at this point. This isn't even 3/5 of our representation. We're down to 1/5. We're down to less than what they thought we deserved in 1787.
Sit down and shut the fuck up,
to you is Terry Sewell and
Angela, I gotta play that again.
Sit down and shut the fuck up, bitch.
Internalize the flatulation of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection.
Massa, is we sick, Massa?
Oh, family, she deserved all those drops. All of the drops she deserved. I don't give a damn who's going to lose their seat when they were in those seats and didn't do nothing for us, while putting on our history in order to do for everybody else. I don't give a damn who lose their seats. There's no sense of urgency for me because there was no sense of urgency for them. Let me say that again to the goddamn shills in the back of the classroom. Please come to the front. All the Democratic shills, come to the front. I need you to come to the front. All my gifted children, you can go. You can go. You don't need to hear this. All you shilling ass pieces of trash, come to the front of the classroom, please, so I can let you know. I don't have a sense of urgency to protect the people that didn't have a sense of urgency to protect us. The same congressional black talkers who go around trying to merge our goddamn birthright with Caribbeans and Africans. I'm supposed to have a sense of urgency to protect that. The same congressional black talkers who got up there and crashed out a reparations bill that was solid for foundational Black Americans out there in California. I have no urgency for nobody who would do that to us. The same mother lovers out there in god dang New York trying to Caribbeanize our reparations claim. I got no sense of urgency for those type of people, nor should I. You sitting here trying to make it seem like the sky is falling because people are going to lose seats mean nothing to me because they didn't do nothing for me while they were sitting in those seats. I guess that seat'll be lost. If I have a chair and the chair, every time I sit in the chair, every time I have a seat in the chair, all four legs want to just flop out and I hit the ground every single time I sit in that chair. But yet when I open the door and some random person that I invited to a party comes in and sit in that chair, and that chair is still able to sit up straight and hold the balance and the weight of that person, and not just that person, the person's girlfriend come over and sit on top of his lap and the weight can be held, and god dang it, not just that, the baby comes running up to the woman, and mommy, and baby picks up the baby, put her on her lap, so now you got the man, you got a woman, and you got a baby all sitting in the same chair that I could not sit in for over 20 years. You think I'm going to care about throwing that chair out to the front because somebody else could come and sit on that chair later on? No. Hell no. Get that damn piece of trash out of my house, put it on the goddamn curb for boat pickup day, and get it gone. See, that's the problem with you folks. You think that you're going to be able to wag your fingers at a group of people that has been fed up with you people for a while now. This didn't just happen yesterday. This didn't just happen in 2016. Yo boy, yo fellow tether in chief, Barack Obama, he popped this off. And it took 10 years from 2012 to 2022 for foundational Black Americans who were still on the Democratic plantation to look around and say, what the hell? Why are we still here? Why are we still here? We just saw him bring in this person over there and he built them a shack. He gave them clothes. He's paying them. Oh, and giving them good food. They're not eating scraps. Why should I stay on this plantation? I might as well run looking for freedom. You gonna let Massa bring some new folks on the plantation who aren't slaves. But you're going to let Massa take away all the food and the resources from the slave and give it to that person, and you think the slave is going to stay on the plantation. Oh, you think you can beat us into staying on the plantation, right? And that's what all the finger wagging is about. How is that working out for you, Angela Cry? How is that working out for your podcast? I don't even know why y'all call it native lands. You got two tethers and then a suspected tether on that piece. Might as well call it Tetherlands. We do not care. So don't come to us now with some sense of urgency. We need to have a sense of urgency for a bunch of people who didn't give a damn about us when they had those seats. They're going to have to fight for them. And if they lose them, then they lose them. Oh, yeah, that is definitely Angela Cry, and she definitely looks crazy. But guess what? She always looks crazy. And this is a lawyer. who can't control her emotions, ladies and gentlemen. This is a lawyer. I wonder if she goes in the courtroom and just start bawling. Just start crying from the top to the bottom. Oh my God, Your Honor, Your Honor. Shout out to our sister Natural. She said, I'm in a poly relationship with my couch and my husband. That right there got me in tears. I love that. I love that so damn much. Shout out to our sister. God dang it. Let's let this finish out. We're going to close out after this.
Shamari figures who represent Alabama. They just recently created that Shamari figure seat. One of those will likely go if something doesn't change from what the Supreme Court did today, was essentially gutting and making the standard much higher, as Janae just articulated, for Section 2 of
Good. Get them out of here. Get them ghosts. Get them gone.
the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Finally, Tate Reeves last week, who's the governor of Mississippi, said that as soon as this decision was made, probably tipped off, right? As soon as this decision was made, he was going to use his constitutional authority in the state of Mississippi to call a special legislative session to redraw the maps. Who does that impact? We have one Black member of Congress.
Who does that impact? To be honest with you, it's going to impact all those Cubans that are down there. It's definitely going to impact all of those Haitians down there. It's going to impact a lot of the Caribbeans down there. Will we be impacted? Sure, in a small way, but not as much as those folks will. And that's the major problem with you guys. That's why you guys are screaming from the rooftops, ain't it? Ah, well. I digress. Shout out to Dark Gable. Excuse me. The Coon say the congressional talkers has been full of tether since the late 1960s with the first Shirley Chisholm, and you ain't lying. You ain't lying. I heard somebody, and this is why I started laughing when I read that. I have a friend that calls her Shirley Chisholm. Shirley He's a Chisholm. Anyway, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for that comment there. Continue, Angela.
In Mississippi. His name is Benny Gordon Thompson. He is one of my first bosses on Capitol Hill. He was the chair of the special committee on January 6th. He's the one who needed a pardon to ensure that he wasn't politically targeted by your president, your current sitting president. This is who they're going to take out. This is who they're trying.
So, in translation, he was a bootleg tap dancer for goddamn Biden. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Continue. Hey, before we do though, screenshot. Family, screenshot this right here. I know I got a screen. Hold on. I'm screenshotting it too. Give me a hot second. Yeah. I'm going to be using this in the meme at some point in time. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. All right, there we go. Let's continue.
Trying to take out. You only got but one in Mississippi. And you know how many Black people live in Mississippi. So that is what we're up against now. Right now, the CBC has 60 members of Congress. We're talking about probably cutting that down back to 40, which is what it was when I was a CBC executive director 11 years ago. So that's what we're up against. And I encourage you all to stay focused, pay attention. I don't want to say all hope is lost, but I am going to say if we don't do everything in our power to turn out in this election season, yes.
I thought we had no power now. Wait a second. No, see, this is what I'm talking about. Everybody keep talking about the woe is me, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And yet they're still telling you to make sure you get out and vote overwhelmingly for a bunch of people who didn't vote for you, who didn't want to do nothing for you, who ignored you. But now it's on you to go out there and make sure they stay in office. Make that make sense.
We always say it is the most consequential election of our lifetimes. And guess what, y'all? It is.
Get away from here with your nasty self and take those white people with you. You know how white people smell after the rain. like wet potato chips. Now get out of here.
Family, as I stated yesterday, they're going to amplify with the messaging. They're going to amp that up times 10. They might have to do it times 100 because times 10 hasn't been working. It hasn't been working. And you got more and more of these people coming out trying to fear monger us while telling us that we still need to get to the polls. But yet, they're not going to tell these politicians that y'all better bring us something to get to the polls. Whether or not we get to the polls is completely up to you. If you bring us something that is tangible, that is of tangible benefit for our community, for the foundational Black American community, then people will look at you like a viable option. If you do not, then you're not. It is that simple. It is that plain. We are not going to sit out here and rush to the polls just so people such as yourself can get put back in the office and get a little pat on your head and a little daytime TV show or something like that. We're not here for that. We're here to make sure our children survive, our children's children survive, our children's children's children survive. We have interest and we deserve to have them addressed. I don't give a damn who you are. I don't care what party you belong to. If you are not a foundational Black American, your issues are not ours. And speaking of which, before we get up out of here, family, a couple of broadcasts back, I said, you know, it was time for us to have our own political party. I want to give a shout out to everybody who's emailed me, giving me their area of expertise. I love that. So when we get everything up and running and moving, we'll know exactly where to place you. We are working right now behind the scenes to get that going. Now, I want to be very clear with what I have to say. I didn't know the Supreme Court ruling was going to come down as quickly as it did. But I felt in my heart of hearts that that was the next move to make. And now that the ruling has come down, our power can be quite literally codified within our political party. So if you really want that voting block that you was so looking forward to going do, looking forward to getting, oh, it's still here. It's definitely still here. And by the time, because like I said, I don't believe nothing's going to change for 2026. 2028 is where it's really going to start to amplify itself up. And that's why I'm making sure that I'm working on this right here, right now, to make sure that within those, by 2028, we're already up, functionally running, accepting donations, and talking to goddamn people like, what are you going to do for our community if you want these funds? Y'all still have an opportunity to come to us and bring us policy. Let's be very, very clear about it. Do I not say codified correctly? Do I not pronounce it correctly when I say it or something? Shout out to my brother Crew Reality in the building. You say that like I never say it correctly. You know, I know sometimes I'll mistake words because I'm moving too quickly, but I'll go back and correct it. I'll go back and correct it for the most part, you know? I have a friend that really hates me because I know that, like, and I said this before on our broadcast, I've said amethyst brief, and a friend of mine hates when I do that. I know it's called a amicus brief, but I call it an amethyst brief, and I forget to correct myself sometimes when I'm talking to other people, because that's what I call it. That's, for me, that's what I connected to keep it in my brain, right? Locked onto my brain, because amethyst is one of my favorite stones. But my homeboy tell me all the time, he's like, man, Amigas brief. I'm like, I know it's Amigas. You know I know it's Amigas. Calm down. It's amethyst today. But I digress, family. I digress. Shout out to my brother. Now, I wanted to say this because I put up, the logo for the Freedmen Reparations Party not too long ago. And, I got a message from one of the family members. And, well, really not a message, but a comment. So let's go here. I want to share the comment with you because, this is a team sport here. I work with you, you work with me, we work with each other, and that's the Black Grassroots. We get things done. So one of the brothers mentioned a comment down here, and he said right here, add the FBA flag, and it's a game changer. So, because I am a man of my brothers and sisters, of the people, we are one. Shout out to Frankie Beverly. That was one of my favorite songs outside Before I Let Go. We are one. No matter what we do, we are one. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. And that's the way it is. So, since we are one and that request was made, I said 100. So, ladies and gentlemen, we came up with a new logo for the Freedmen Reparations Party. And we got all the flags on, all 3 flags on it. We got the American flag, we got the Black American flag, and we got the foundational Black American flag. And also, oh, I'm glad you called that out. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I got to go back in and fix that because it was definitely supposed to be freed men. All right, thank you. Thank you very much, my good brother. See, this is why we do this, family. This is why we do what we do. I will fix that right after this. But looking at this, family, I was like, yeah, that looks awesome. But it's missing something. Can any one of the family members in the chat tell me what this here is missing? Yes, I know freedmen. That's missing. I got you. Outside of the misspell of freedmen. Please tell me what is missing from here. Our check, that's another one, but that comes from the government. That comes from them. What is missing in the logo? Boom. There we go. Shout out to A. Jones in the building. Much love to you. Much love to you, because I felt it in my heart of hearts. I'm like, wait a second, something's missing here. You can't have foundational Black Americans with just a dude. You got to make sure that there is a evenly yoked situation. So I present to you the new and improved, until, I fixed the spelling on this one, the new and improved logo, the Freedmen Reparations Party. Now that looks a lot better, don't it, family? This is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of you. They're afraid of me. They're afraid of us. They're afraid of we. They're afraid that now they have to actually bend a knee. And guess what? They should be. Bars. With that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, family. So family, please continue to send me the emails letting me know what your profession is, whether you want to be on the board or not. I had one of the brothers hit me up today, or I read the email today, and while he was saying he did not want to be on the committee, he did want to be a researcher for us. And he shot some information that I'm actually going to be using on Sunday when we do the reparations and representation broadcast. So shout out to Obsidian. Much love to you, family. And shout out to everybody who's emailed me thus far. Mrs. C. Phillips, much love to you. I got your email too. I put your email right there in the folder. When you tell me this is what I'm looking to do, I'm going to create a folder just for you, because we're going to need people on the ground. We're going to need people in the offices. We're going to need people to basically be the street team, and we're going to need people to be the office team. So when it comes down to the come down, they're going to have to come around and speak to us if they want us to be down. Damn, I'm over here spitting right now. Bars on top of bars. So shout out to each and every one of you. A certified B1 salute. And let me give a B1 salute to that one brother for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my brother. And let me also give a B1 salute to the ears that hear the truth. Shout out to you, my warrior sister. I'm glad that you're here. I know that you've been going through some things, and I'm praying for you and your family. I hope that everything is well on your side. But thank you for your super chat, your Cash App. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Family, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here and sharing a piece of your Thursday night with me. I like to thank each and every one of you, my mods, members, everybody in the chat, everybody that donated, whether by super chat or Cash App or anywhere else. I know PayPal is out there as well. I haven't checked the PayPal yet, but if you donated by PayPal, I will not only shout you out in the next go around, but much love to you right now. Family, at the end of the day, if you pay attention, they're telling you that you're winning. You know, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, Vicky Dillard, and many other people in the new black media have said this. They will never tell you when you're winning, so you'll have to be able to look and see and call your shots for yourself. Just know, I'm not looking at anything from the eyes of a Republican. I'm not looking at anything through the eyes of a Democrat. I'm looking at everything through the eyes of a foundational Black American. And if they're not coming to us with that understanding, if they're not coming to us with that understanding, then everything else that they say is just Charlie Brown trying to hear what his parents are saying. Womp, 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 womp. And the family come to me is like, hey, did you understand what they say? I never understand what they say. It's always that womp, womp, womp stuff. A certified B1 salute to each and every one of you, family. Because whether people want you to know it or not, oh, you're the secret sauce of it all. And you're dropping You're just dripping sauce all over the place. You're a messy sauce dripper because you're overflowing with so much sauce. I'm going to be 100. I love it. I love to be the messy sauce dripper. I love to look at them in their eyes while they're sitting there trying to convince me that I'm losing when they're just talking about themselves. It's open projection, ladies and gentlemen. And I need everyone who hears this to take this into account. This is good, in the words of Jason Black. With that being said, much love to each and every one of you. Y'all have a blessed rest of your night. May the Most High touch you on the forehead and give you all the joy that you need and that you deserve. With that being said, my family and friends, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever can't stand us black people, he doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing, us black people going to survive. So fuck everybody. I'm out.